Is there any types of like products, like cosmetic stuff that you think people are putting on their skin, and if they're not careful, it can add up and just be bad for them?
Yeah, yeah, many of things, and it's probably going to get me in trouble in my own dermatology community. But I tend not to like chemical sunscreens. Never have, never will, and everybody will fight with me on saying, "Well, the studies don't show harm to humans, and the dose is low enough that it doesn't hurt you." My thought process to this is very, very simple. If you have a category of product that has minimal to no concern whatsoever, and you have a category of product that has even smoldering evidence, for me as a doctor, my primary goal is to keep you safe. I don't really, and maybe it's my own fault, I don't really care about how it goes on or how elegantly it sits on your skin or whatnot. If my goal is to protect you, I will pick the one that has no concern or side effect. If it goes on a little chalky, so be it. My goal is to protect you from sun damage, skin cancer, and premature aging. So there's enough smoldering evidence from chemical sunscreens to begin with that suggest some of its metabolic byproducts can be carcinogenic. Some of it can be endocrine disrupting in and of itself. The absorption is a lot higher than we thought. There was a really good JAMA study that showed that single application of a chemical sunscreen on the body at the dose that we recommend as dermatologists had a 200 to 500 time increased absorption that we detected in a blood draw. That that is concerning to me. We're telling people to put these products on from childhood to adulthood. We're talking 50, 60, 70 years of constant application. Eventually, you would think something will catch up to you. That's number one. I don't like that stuff. Number two, I tend not to like the acids. And that's just my personal bias, but I feel like we have better products, better ingredients to use than the simple acids people put on their skin for cosmetic rejuvenation, acne treatment, etc. But my biggest culprit right now is the sunscreens that are chemical based, propellants, spray sunscreens. I hate them. 99% of the propellants are benzene derivatives. We inhale them, that becomes a problem. And over time, it's not the one-time application, but the 50 years of spraying on sunscreen and inhaling, that's probably not the best thing for you.
When it comes to things like cancer and diseases of the skin in general, like people tend to blame like genetics and say, you know what, like I have a a predisposition to things like skin cancer and issues like that. But I know that lifestyle plays a big role and can trigger like a lot of these genes to get turned on. So like, what do you think is the role that lifestyle plays in things like disease?
So you touch upon a topic like epigenetics or gene activation, gene modulation based on environmental factors. I think they're huge. I think genetics trumps everything. That being said, my family, and I'll give you a simple example, both my mom's side and my dad's side have obesity and diabetes that run rampant in the family. So I know I have the genes for it. Now, can I control for it? For certain. I do all my, I work out, I watch what I eat, and I can get really, really fit if I want to. I can also get really, really fat if I want to. I can assure you that. Genetics plays the predominant role. It loads the gun and it cocks the hammer, but lifestyle and habits can pull the trigger. And that's the simplest way I can describe it. So I see a lot of patients who have a strong family history of skin cancer, and I have relatives which think, it's in my genes, I'm going to get it anyway. And then relatives who are like, you know what, I'm going to mitigate my risk. I know I'm going to get it. Maybe instead of having 10, I'll have 2. So I think lifestyle can modulate your genetic predisposition significantly. Can it stop it? No. Can it reverse it? No. But you can reduce the expression, the intensity of the expression. There's a really good twin study that I think I talked about somewhere in one of our social media videos, in that identical twin studies, and you looked at, they had the same genetics and environmental factors differed where they lived, where they smoked, where they got sun exposure or not. And you can see physically a marked difference in their health. And that goes to show you lifestyle habits, diet, and environment can contribute significantly to the expression of your risk factor genetics.
What about stress? I notice like when I get stressed, sometimes my hair will get more flaky, my hair will thin a bit. What role does stress play on skin health?
Stress plays one of the most monumental roles in all of our health. It's insane. And the problem with stress is we can't quantify or measure it in a lab. We can quantify or measure glucose. We can quantify and measure triglycerides and cholesterol. I can't measure stress that easily. And person to person, the stress response is different. What I love about our skin, what drove me into being a dermatologist and a skin cancer surgeon, is you can see the body's homeostatic balance right away in our skin. We can see how our body is doing. It's a window to our soul from the outside. So stress plays a tremendous role. And one of the first places I see it is not just the skin, but in our hair and nails. So when I was a full-time professor over at the university, I used to see young kids come in all the time, right during midterm and finals week, particularly finals week, with clumps of their hair falling out. And every time, it was the same story. My hair is falling out. It's covering my pillow, my bed sheets. Am I going to go bald? And you'd say, okay, how stressed are you? I'm stressed out of my mind. I'm not sleeping. I'm cramming. So there's an actual diagnosis for that called telogen effluvium, which is stress loss or shock loss. Our body uses our skin, hair, and nails as a biosensor and says, well, if I'm really this stressed, do I need to expend energy making hair? I don't need to. I will expend energy healing a part of our body and the hair will fall out. It sheds as a result. But you see it not only in hair, you see it in our skin. You can go online and look at the aging process of US presidents and world leaders, and they have an accelerated age rate compared to the population. And that's because the chronic stress response releases a hormone called cortisol. And cortisol is a glucocorticoid that breaks things down in our body for our body to utilize it as an energy source. And the idea behind that is, primitively, we used to be attacked by animals and lions and predators and what have you. So when we were in a state of stress or shock, we needed to utilize energy to run away from these predators, right? The body doesn't recognize 21st century stress versus 50,000 years ago stress. It still thinks you're being eaten by the lion. The problem is the lion is, the job on Wall Street, the surgeon who's doing life-threatening surgeries every day, the family who's struggling in bills, what have you. So that stress, your body releases this hormone to break down body parts, muscle, skin, collagen to use as an energy source to run away from. So with stress, our skin ages early. Collagen breaks down, elastin breaks down, we form wrinkles, we form hollowing, and you can see that over time.
Like speaking of wrinkles, I know that's something that people get really self conscious about. What do you think is the best way to prevent wrinkles and potentially reverse them?
Number one, protect yourself from too much UV exposure. Number one thing that will age you prematurely is overexposure to sun and UV. Now, it sounds like, hey, Dr. Soleimani, you're making contradictory statements. What are you saying? The sun is good, the sun is not good. I think the sun is great, but too much of a good thing can also be a bad thing, right? And I go back to that like wrinkled leather bag analogy. You put hide outside for a short period of time, it won't wrinkle or tan. It won't wrinkle and turn into leather. But if you keep it out there for a very long period of time consistently, it'll start to wrinkle like wrinkled leather does. Same thing with our skin. The UV exposure and to a lesser extent, X-ray, gamma radiation exposure will break down collagen very, very quickly. Other things that you can do, you want to make sure you're sleeping well. You rebuild collagen at night when you're sleeping. You want to make sure you have an anti-inflammatory diet, things that'll allow your body to heal and maintain a normal homeostasis so your collagen and elastin don't break down at a faster rate. Can you stop them entirely? No. Mother Nature, Father Time will win all. It's inevitable. There are things that we can do to help reduce the rate at which that decline occurs.
Yeah. And if you had to put together like a blueprint for somebody to make sure that they are optimizing their skin health, if they're reducing the risk of skin cancer, and can like reduce like aging, like what types of like habits, like everyday habits, weekly habits, which you make sure that they do on a regular basis?
Yeah. So simplest thing, watch what you eat, protect yourself from too much UV exposure, get outside and get moving for certain, get a little bit of sun, enough that your skin doesn't turn red, but enough that will make you feel better, get good sleep. And the two other things that I tend to recommend as a dermatologist specifically for the skin is some form of retinoid. A retinoid's usually a topical, sometimes an oral medication that will turn your skin over and grows new collagen. Almost every dermatologist in the world is on a topical retinoid. It protects you against skin cancer, protects against sun damage, grows new collagen, prevents fine lines and wrinkles. It's like the best medicine in the world. And the fourth thing is listen to your skin. If your skin doesn't like something you're doing, change that habit. I see a lot of patients who, I get asked this question, hey, can I put beef tallow on my skin? Every dermatologist saying it's crazy. And I say, look, are you having problems with it? I see a lot of patients who put beef tallow on their skin. Some are young patients who have cystic acne and they're flaring. And I'm like, hey, when did you start your tallow? Oh, yeah, you think it's that? I'm like, yeah, that's probably your problem. And then I have patients who have flawless skin. It's a great moisturizer for them. They've been using it for months without any problem. Who am I to say it's not good for them? Right? So the fourth thing is just listen to your skin, listen to your body. And if you start to find a trend of something not working, let's figure out a way to fix that.
So regarding like the things that you should never put on your skin, we've talked about sunscreen. You talked about like the beef tallow. Is there anything like no matter what people should just not put on their skin if they want to look good over time?
I think trying to tan in an artificial tanning bed, it's not exactly something you put on your skin, but nothing good will come of that. You don't get any of the benefits of natural sunlight. You don't get any of the health benefits of being outside. All it does is accelerate the aging process of your skin. So it's not a direct thing that we're applying onto our skin, but it's definitely something that's being applied onto our skin by our own doing to potentially look good. It's just there are better ways to stay young.